I was the lead instructor for Chris Kyle's company, Craft, right? So Chris was, Navy SEAL, American sniper, right? Everybody knows about, which I always jokingly say, I thought it was awesome that the Navy SEAL needed a Green Beret to teach for him, I'm like, you just keep writing books, Navy.
Yeah, you did something that's not only crazy, but you're the first one to do it. You're the first amputee to go to Special Forces Sniper School.
Yeah.
So how'd that come about?
My superpower is too dumb to not know I ain't supposed to try that.
I mean, what was that? Was that your idea? The Army's idea?
No, it was my idea for sure. So after I left my team, right, I didn't want to, obviously, because I was being rehabilitated, I didn't want to take up a spot on the team.
Right.
So I went to the Opstet where all the training departments are, and I was on the sniper detachment helping out run sniper school. Mm-hmm. And after a while, in the way I run is I can't be there and not be sniper qualified. So I asked if I could go, and absolutely, they said, yeah, sure, why not? And they did that, and they let me go, and it was the hardest, couple months of my life. They pulled no punches. I did every single thing they did. I always, in fact, they didn't even know I was one-legged for the longest time. Right, because if sniper school, the first couple weeks or so, it's all laying on your belly, flat range, trying to shoot 1,000 yards, known distance, unknown distance, things like that, right? But when it comes into the field craft part of it, where you get in your ghillie suits, doing stalks and things of that nature, where you go out to the training area, and then you change into your ghillie suit, and I'm dropping trowel, and everybody's like, "What the heck?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, game on, baby. You got a one-legged guy here doing the same thing you are," and it was awesome. Because, all the running guns, the scrambles that we would run, it's always for time, right? And they'd always post the scores, right? Pays to be a winner, right? Competition breeds excellence, right? And so that's what they would do is they'd print the scores out. And I'd always, whenever they did, I'd point it up to where I was, and I was never the last. And I never was even close to the last. And I'd tell them, hey, check it out. The one-legged guy is not the weakest link. And doing the final FTX, doing coming out of that helicopter with a 100-pound rucksack, moving to our objective, and doing a hide for a while and all that stuff. I mean, it was definitely the hardest thing I ever did as a one-legged guy.
Yeah, that's incredible, man.
I was fortunate to graduate, which, by the way, definitely did not know that. Like the USASOC commander was there. Yeah. Like big deal. First one-legged sniper, right? They were there. Well, I wasn't. Because right after we finished the course, I was like, hey, I don't need to be there at graduation, right? They're just doing this, whatever. Like, yeah, cool. I went on a bear hunt. Because during the guy's like, hey, can you go on this bear hunt? I'm like, yeah, sure. And so I literally was getting on an airplane, and when I landed, my phone had blown up. My team sergeant was like, hey, knucklehead, you didn't go to your graduation? And I'm like, well, they said I didn't need to be, the cadre said I didn't need to be there. I'm like, yeah, but you know who was there? I was like, oh, my bad. But yeah, that's something that I've just carried. I just won't ever quit, man. I'll never quit. Not only testing myself, but I'll never quit being the best at what God's given me.
Yeah. You have a motto that you repeat, lean forward and fight hard. What's that come from?
That comes from Sergeant Major Mark Eubanks. He, like, if there was a G.I. Joe for a Green Beret, it would be him. He's just this big old black barrel-chested, raspy-voiced, Sergeant Major, and he probably don't even remember saying it. We were in formation one day, and he said, "Men, when times get hard, you're in that foxhole, you just got to lean forward and fight hard." And that's just it was a very visible thing for me on how to address life.
Yeah.
Right? That life's always going to punch you in the face. What are you going to do about it? Right? Are you going to be a victim? Like I said earlier, are you going to plant those heels firmly in the ground, and are you going to lean forward and fight hard? And that's just something that I use with myself in business. Being a business owner, man, it's hard. It's something that I didn't go to school for it. Right. And now here I am trying to figure out, how to run a P&L, how to recruit talent, how to, move strategy and all that stuff. And it just lean forward and give it hell.
What was that transition like? I mean, at some point you take off the uniform, the Army forced you out, or you chose to?
No, I chose to get out. I never will forget. So actually sniper school was the first time And by the way, this is a very, grown up conversation with myself, because before it was definitely, I always had the mindset of I'm in, I'm the Army, right? Again, like I said earlier, if God ever put it in black and white, he did it for me. And knowing how hard it was for me to do that, I remember thinking, no matter how awesome I am one-legged, I'm probably not better than a Green Beret two-legged.
Yeah.
And it's very vain of me to stay on a team, right? Because I wanted to go back to a team. I wanted to prove I could do it. I wanted to go back down range.
But that was for you.
A lot of eyes, right?
Yeah.
And having that humble pie and realizing no matter how much I want this, it's probably better to have a two-legged guy there. And so that's when I went to the Care Coalition. Now, granted, I could still, train. I was a, primary instructor for sniper school, which is awesome. But heck, I was in, at the time, 10, 11 years. I'm not doing that for another 9 years, right? And so I went to the Care Coalition. I'm like, hey, I know I want to stay in, but if I want to get out, what does that look like? And they came back with a solution, and I just felt God calling me there, and my wife and family, which I had 2 kids. Yeah, I had 2 kids at that time, and we moved to Dallas, and it's one of the best things I've ever done is to hang the hat up and move here because of the people that I've met and the relationships I fostered and what I'm doing now.
Or hang the beret up.
Yeah, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Because now if you ask me who am I could tell you I'm a warrior for Christ. Mm-hmm. If you'd asked me that 10 years ago, I'd have said I'm a Green Beret.
Yeah.
Right. And when your identity is in that, and now you strip that away, and I'm not around other SF guys because I left Fort Bragg, right? I'm not even around a lot of military people because I'm in Dallas. And so talk about fish out of water, man. And so it was a hard time for me, because again, at the time I still drank alcohol. Fortunately I'd gotten off opioids at the time, but that led me to drinking more, right? Because I still had pain. I'm like, I'm going to take the edge off and have me a few beers or a couple glasses or whatever, but I just kept moving, and I never will forget. And I say that specifically, right? I just kept moving, right? I'm there, high school educated, don't have a college degree, but every day I got up and I left. And my wife was like, babe, why are you leaving? Because you got toll roads, you're paying for this, right? It's expensive. Why are you leaving the house? So it was actually a confrontation point with me and her. And I said, babe, for my entire adult life, I got up and I've gone to work every morning. I don't know what's out for me out there, but guess what? I'm going to get up and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do something. It may be lunch with a guy. It may be going helping a guy, doing a certain job. I remember one guy, a mechanic, I helped him put on a couple bumpers, right? But I left the house. And what that did was get me the network that I have now, that it led me to being the first, I was the lead instructor for Chris Kyle's company, Craft, right? So Chris was, Navy SEAL, American sniper, right? Everybody knows about. And which I always jokingly say, I thought it was awesome that the Navy SEAL needed a Green Beret to teach for him. I'm like, you just keep writing books, Navy.
And Travis Cox was there too, right?
Yeah, Travis Cox.
He was a Force Recon sniper.
There were some things that I think he did with us.
Yeah.
As an adjutant instructor for sure.
Okay, yeah.
But and obviously that led to Chris dying, and that was the catalyst for my sobriety.